Welcome to Poetry Changes Lives, poetry, history, thought for the day. In my book here, it makes a great present, you know. If you go to Amazon, you can buy a copy. On this day in 1623, I'm talking about the birth of the great French philosopher, profound thinker, and mathematician as well as writer, Blaise Pascal, one of the most profound thinkers we've seen since the Greeks and Romans. Pascal's greatest work, the Pensées, which is of course the French word for thoughts, are a series of meditations on spirituality and some of the eternal great questions in philosophy. However, it was as a mathematician that he became best known in his lifetime. His father was, for some years, a chief tax collector in Rouen in France, and Pascal helped him in some of his work by designing a number of machines that could add and subtract numbers, which is very useful for tax collecting. And having done so, Pascal is really credited as the creator of the calculating machine and thus indirectly the computers of the kind we have today. That's quite an achievement for someone working 400 years ago. Well, Pascal will always be remembered by most people, including myself, as one of the greatest writers on spirituality and Christianity particularly. Whatever your own personal religion or creed, I think most people would admire the profound thought and faith that Pascal put into his writings. Today I'm going to read part of a poem by Gerard Manley Hopkins, another very profound thinker and a great poet, particularly, you know, the way his faith shines out is almost manic sometimes in its intensity. He was very much driven by his Christian beliefs, and again, you know, whether you're a Christian or not, you've got to feel the power he put into his writing. I'm going to read his poem God's Grandeur, which is quite remarkable for the underlying power of his words. See what you think of this. The world is charged with the grandeur of God. It will flame out like shining from shook foil. It gathers to a greatness like the ooze of oil crushed. Why do men then now not wreck his rod? Generations have trod, and all is seared with trade, bleared, smeared with toil, and wears man's smudge? Bleared and shears men's smell. The soil is bare now, nor can foot feel being shod, and for all this nature is never spent. There lives the dearest freshness deep down things, and though the last lights off the black west went, O morning at the brown brink eastward springs, because the Holy Ghost over the bent world broods with warm breast and with our bright wings. What a remarkable outpouring of faith, you know, in the fact that man is becoming obsessed with work and toil, but God and the Holy Ghost looks benignly over us all. such an outpouring of faith. Today I give thanks for the spiritual dimension in my life. Thanks for listening.